Good morning children, Sairam. I again welcome you all to the online class of economics. Children, today we are going to start our next chapter, that is chapter number 4, methods of calculating national income. Children, this chapter is very important from the exam point of view because you will definitely get one numerical questions in the board examination from this chapter. And up till chapter number 3rd, we have finished up the theoretical portion of this unit also. We have learned some of the most important topics, what is nominal GDP, real GDP, domestic income, national income, what is gross domestic product at market price, what is net domestic product at factor cost. Now with this chapter we will learn the various method of calculating a national income. Children, there are 3 different methods of calculating national income. First method is your production method, second is your income method, and third is your expenditure method. Children, national income is considered as the most comprehensive measure of the performance of an economy. Accordingly, there are 3 different methods of calculating national income. The first is your value added method. We call it production method, we call it product method also, we call it net output method also, we call it industrial origin method also. There are several names of pronouncing this method. Now with this video we will learn the first method of calculating a national income. Children, let us learn first the value added method. This method is used to measure national income in different phases of production in the circular flow. Children, I am again going to repeat this sentence. Value added method is used to measure national income in different phases of production in the circular flow. It measures national income in terms of value added by each producing enterprise in an economy during an accounting year. I have already explained you the different phases of production. I have also explained you the circular flow of income, whereas we have learned what is real flow or money flow. Now when we are talking here about the circular flow, a household is considered as the owner of the factors of production, and household is giving their factor services to the firm, and firm is paying household the factor services. They are paying, the firm is paying to the firm is paying the factor payment to household in the form of goods and services, and also in the form of money also, which we call as the money flow. Now when we are talking here about the value added method, we will calculate the national income by this method in terms of value addition by each producing units or each producing enterprise in an economy. You all understood what are the various sectors of the production, various sectors in the economy. Children, we have 3 sectors in an economy for the producing units. First is the primary sector, second is your secondary sector, and third is your tertiary sector. Now when we are going to learn the national income by this method, and if we are talking here about the definition of the value added, now value added refers to, just see here with the slide, value added refers to the addition of value to the raw material, that is intermediate goods, by a firm by virtue of its producing or productive activities. It is calculated as the difference between the value of output and the value of intermediate consumption. We have several formulas also to calculate this value added. A value added is always equal to value of output minus intermediate consumption. Now value of output, in place of value of output we can also take as sales plus change in stock minus intermediate consumption, or we can also take the value of output, that is domestic sales plus export, and if you calculating the value added, it's always equals to domestic sales plus exports minus intermediate consumption. So children, on behalf of with the help of these formulas we will calculate the national income. Children, one thing is very clear, what we have learned with the previous with this definition. A value added method is defined as a difference between total value of output of a firm and value of inputs brought from other firms. When we calculate the value added by each sector, we call it the gross value added at market price. When we summarize the gross value added at all the sectors, the primary sectors, the secondary as well as the tertiary sector, we will get the value of gross value added at market price, which we also call as the gross domestic product at market price, which is always equal to value of output minus intermediate consumption, or we can also write it like sales plus change in stock minus intermediate consumption. So these are some of the formulas which will be very helpful in calculating the national income by this method. Children, on the very with the slide on the very top, I have written the important formulas. These are some of the formulas which will be very helpful in calculating the national income by this method. A value added. Now one thing is very important to understand here. Just look here. Value added by each producing enterprise is also known as the gross value added at market price, and sum total of gross value added at market price of all producing enterprise within the domestic territory of a country during 1 year is always equal to GDP. Children, at the very starting when I am explaining you the sectors in the producing units, I have explained you that there are 3 different sectors in production, in the process of production. The first is the primary sector, then secondary sector, and third is the tertiary sector. Now when we summarize the value added by each and every sector, then we will get the value of GVAMP. We call it gross value added at market price, and when we summarize the gross value added at market price by each and every phase, by each and every sector, the value becomes equal to gross domestic product at market price. I mean, summation of GVAMP is always equal to summation of GDPMP. Here you just watching here. So children, here you just see there are the certain steps of value added method. In first step, we have to find out the gross value added at market price by primary sector, thereafter by secondary sector, and at last by tertiary sector. When we sum up all the gross value added by each and every sector, we will get the value of gross domestic product and market price, which is in short we can write it GDPMP. And from once you get the value of GDPMP, you can easily reach to national income. You can make the conversion from GDPMP to NNPFC. Like from if you want to grow from gross to net, then we have to subtract the depreciation from the gross value. And if we want to domestic to domestic, there is no change, but here domestic to national, if I want to go, I have to edit the net factor income from abroad later on, but from market price to factor cost I have to subtract the value of net indirect taxes. So children, from GDP-MP to NDP-FC, first we are moving from GDP-MP to NDP-FC, which is the domestic income. We are subtracting depreciation as well as net indirect taxes from the value of GDP-MP, and we could get the value of NDP-FC, which is known as the domestic income, and adding net factor income from abroad to the domestic income, that is NDP-FC, we will get the value of national income, which we write as NNP-FC. So these are the certain steps which we have to follow up to find out the value added by each and every sectors in the economy. So children, so far we have understood that gross value added is obviously equal to gross value added of primary sector, thereafter secondary sector, and at last tertiary sector. When we add up the gross value added by all these three sectors, we will get the value of GVAMP. G here is gross, V here is value, A here is added. I mean gross value added at market price, which we can also write as GDP-MP. Understood the various way of writing this aggregates. GVA means the gross value added, GVA of primary sector, thereafter we are adding secondary, and at last the tertiary sector. When we sum up all this gross value added, we will get the value of GVAMP, and it also equals to GDP-MP. The full form is written with this slide also. So children, once we will get the value of GDP-MP, we have to subtract the depreciation, because here I am going to move from GDP-MP to NNP-FC. Now what certain adjustments we have to do, or we have to be taken to be reached from GDP-MP to NNP-FC, you just see with the slide also. From gross, just convert, or from first alphabet to another first alphabet. From gross to net, if we want to reach, we have to subtract the depreciation. There is not a big thing. From domestic to national, if we want to reach, we have to edit the NFIA, because net factor income from abroad has to be added with the domestic income, then we will reach to the national income. And from market price to factor cost, we have to subtract the, and from market price to factor cost we want to reach, we have to subtract the net indirect taxes. Net indirect taxes means indirect tax minus subsidies, and which is always equal to NNP-FC. This is the certain procedure what you have to follow up. Now when we talking here about the gross value added of primary sector, we will include here the value added by the agriculture sector or by the allied activities. This we are covering up in the primary sector. Second, gross value added of secondary sector, in a sense the manufacturing, the construction. I mean first the primary sector is related with the agriculture sector, whereas the secondary sector is related with the industry sectors, the firms, the manufacturing sectors, whereas the tertiary sectors refers to the various kinds of services. I mean it is related with the consumer sectors. Now let us move ahead, children. So up till here we have learned that value addition refers to the addition of value to the raw material, that is intermediate goods, by a firm. In the various phases, each and every producing units, each and every producing enterprises is going to increase the value in the product, and going to increase the value to the product, which is known as the value added method. Now there are certain precautions also for this value added method also. Now precaution in a sense, what thing we have to be included, what we have not to be included. First is the value of intermediate goods are not to be included in the national income. It is already explained in the previous videos also. When we are going to take the final value of all the goods and services, then we are not inclined to add up the value of intermediate goods separately. The value of intermediate goods or the cost of intermediate goods are already included in the value of the final goods and services. That is why when we are calculating the value added by each and every enterprise, I mean each and every enterprise is in a sense the primary sector, in a sense the farmers is producing wheat, and that wheat is being sell to the you can say miller. Now like farmer is the primary sector, whereas miller is the secondary sector, and miller is converting the wheat into the flour and is selling to the, you can say, the baker. Now baker is the next sector who is converting, who is making a cake from the flour. This is now cake is known as the final product, and the baker is the territory sector. So children, as I just said, there are certain precautions. The first precaution says that the value of intermediate goods cannot be included in the value of in estimating the value of national income, because the cost of intermediate goods is already included in the value of final goods and services. Now second point says that sale and purchase of second hand goods is not included in estimating the national income, because they were included in the year in which they were produced, and does not, and in the current year they does not add to any current flow of goods and services. Like if any second hand machinery is being sold or purchased by any firm, now that value is not included in estimating the national income, because it is already included in the year when they have been produced. So we do not use to, if we added the same value here also, then it again becomes the problem of double counting. Now second is commission and brokerage. If there is any commission or any brokerage earned on sale and purchase of any such goods, then it will be included in calculating the national income, because that income what that person has earned is the reward for the services rendered. So no matters if any or a second hand machinery is being sold or being purchased, and if the firm or any person has paid the commission to the person, to the agent, now that commission, that brokerage has to be included in estimating the national income, because the person has getting that reward for the services what is rendered. Now fourth point here is production of services for self consumption are not included. If there is any kind of services which is being done which has been done for self consumption, then that value we are not going to be included in calculating the national income, because it is very difficult to measure their values in it is very difficult to measure their market values, and are considered as the non monetary transactions. For example, like the services of housewife, kitchen, gardening, etc. These are the services which are non payable, and it does not create any value added in terms of money. That is why we are going to exclude the services for self consumption. but if there is any production for self consumption, then it will be added in calculating the national income. For suppose if there is a farmer who is producing wheat, now wheat he also needed for his own survival. So whatever the wheat he is consuming, it contributes to the current output, as well as these goods are like that goods which has been produced for the market. For example, like if wheat produced are consumed by the farmers family themselves. Now with this precaution we guys will learn that if there is any good and if there is any kind of production of goods for the self consumption, then then it definitely included in estimating the value of national income, or in estimating the national income. Now the last point, the last precaution says that the imputed rent on the owner's occupied house is to be included in the estimating national income, because all houses have some rental income, no matters they are self-employed or they are self-occupied or they are rented. We are going to include the value of imputed rent also in estimating the national income. So children, these are some of the precautions which we have to follow up in estimating the national income. With the conclusion, we guys will we're going to revise it again. The following precautions should be taken while estimating the national income by the output method. The first is only the value of final goods and services should be included. Why it is included? Because we are not going to include the value of intermediate goods also with the final goods. We are obviously taking the value of final goods for estimating the national income. Second is the value of goods retained for self-use should be included in national income. This value will definitely includes because we are using it for self-consumption. That is why it definitely creates a value added in the market. Now imputed rent of owners occupied building should be included in national income, because the house what we occupied, if we are giving it to somebody, then we definitely gets some amount in the form of rent. So that rent should be the income also, and that is why we are going to include in estimating national income. Leisure time and illegal activities are not included in national income. Now last is on account production of fixed capital by the government firms and households should be included in NI means the national income. Now children, there is again the problem of double counting here. What is the problem of double counting? The calculation of national income through final product approach consider the market value of final goods and services, but the value of intermediate goods is not included. If the value of intermediate goods are again included or it is considered, it will involve the problem of double counting. Double counting means consider of certain items more than once, which leads to overestimation of national income. So children, I again want to present your point here also. Children, when we are going to estimating the national income, we are going to include or we are going to take the value of only the final goods and services. We are not going to add it again the value of intermediate goods or intermediate consumption. If we are going to include again the value of intermediate goods, then it becomes a problem of double counting. Now let us learn more with this problem. Children, Double counting refers to counting of an output more than once while passing through various stages of production. A commodity passes through the various stages of production before reaching to the final users, the final stage. When value of the commodity is taken at final stage, it is likely to include the cost of inputs more than once. Therefore, the problem of this leads to basically the problem of double counting. We are going, therefore it increases the national income, the value of therefore it definitely increases the value of the national income. So we will always take the value of only the final goods and services in estimating the national income. Now here we have taken a numerical example to understand it better. On the left hand side we have taken the phases, the various phases. Now at right we are taking a percent, then output produced, the value of output, I mean the sale price, the value of input, I mean the intermediate cost, I mean the value of raw material which has been purchased by the various sectors in producing the another commodity, and next is the value added by each and every sector, and at last on the very right hand side I have taken the value added. So children, understand it first. My first phase is my first phase, or you can say the sector, is the primary sector. A farmer is producing wheat and he is selling into the sale price of 500 into the markets. There is a roughly example we are taking. A farmer has produced some quantity of wheat and he is selling that wheat into the market by 500 rupees. Now value of input, that is intermediate cost, will be zero for the farmer because he is not buying any raw material by which he is converting a raw material into the finished goods. Whatever the value is added with this production is his on you can say his on work, his on efficiency, what he is worked, his on performance, what he is done in producing the wheat. So 500 rupees is definitely the value added by the primary sector, or you can say by the farmer. Now this wheat is being purchased by the miller. This is the next phase, we can call it a secondary phase, where miller is buying the wheat and is converting flour from the wheat. Now that flour what he is purchased from the farmer by paying rupees 500, he is selling that flour into the market by 700 rupees. Now 700 rupees is the sale price of the miller, whereas the cost price of that wheat is only 500 rupees. Now the value what is added by the miller itself is the 200 rupees. He is worked in converting wheat into the flour, and once he convert the wheat into the flour, he gets the value added by 200 rupees. That 200 rupees is the worth which is being paid to the miller, or it is the efficiency, it is the compensation of the work which is done by the miller itself in the form of profit. Now miller has purchased the wheat by paying 500 rupees and is converting the wheat into the flour and sell into the market by 700 rupees. Now the value added by the miller itself is the 200 rupees. Now next is the territory sector, the baker. Baker is buying the flour from the miller and is converting or is making the cake from the flour, and that cake is being sold into the market by 1000 rupees. So the cost price or the intermediate cost for the baker itself is the 700 rupees, because flour has been sold by the miller by 700 rupees. So the value added by the baker itself is the 300 rupees. Now here one thing is very important to understand, that when we added all the value added by all the three different sectors, or by primary, secondary and tertiary sector, when we summarize the value added, that is 500, 200 and 300, we will get the value of 1000 rupees. So this 1000 rupees itself is the value of the gross value added at market price. We can call it GVAMP. What we call it? We call it GVAMP, and it is known as GDP-MP also. Now if we take when we summarize this, we will get the total market value of 2200, that is the sale price. But this sale price of 2200, the value of intermediate cost is already included, which is 1200 rupees. Now this is the problem which is generating in calculating the national income. The value of intermediate goods rupees 12,000 is again going to be added here, is already included in the value of 2200, which is known as the sale price. Now when we have to calculate the national income, there are two options. Either we can take the summation of gross value added at market price, that is 1000 rupees to be for estimation, or we can take the final value of this one, just the value of output, the final value of output of 1000, which is being sold by the baker itself in a form of cake. Then this 1000 rupees is taken as for estimating the national income. So if we take this 1000, then it is known as the final output method of taking the value for estimation. Or when we are taking the right hand side, the summation of value added, that is 1000, which is known as the GVAMP. Now this is also a value which has to be taken for estimating the national income. What I am going to explain here is, we are not going, we have to take either this value, or either we are going to take the right hand side value for estimating the national income. We are not going to take here the value of 2200, because this the value of because in the value of 2200, the value of intermediate cost is already included. Now in this given example, wheat is the final product for farmer, whereas flour is for miller and a cake is for the baker, and every producer treats his commodity as a final output. So if we take here the total value of output, that is 500 plus 700 plus 1000, it becomes 2200. But each transactions contains the value of intermediate cost as and the value of wheat is included in the value of flour, whereas the value of flour is already included in the value of cake. Therefore value of wheat and the value of flour are counted more than once. It leads to overestimation of value of goods and services produced. That is why there is a problem arises, which is known as the problem of double counting. Now therefore to avoid the overestimation or the double counting, there are two alternative ways, dear children. Value of only final goods and services should be added to determine the national income. That is, the value of cake of rupees 1000 sold to final users, the consumer, should be taken in estimating the national income. Therefore it is known as the final output method. So children, whatever the sale price, the final producer enterprise has generated, Now that value we can take in estimating the national income, or we can take the sum total of the value added by each producing unit for estimating the national income. Now here with this example, dear children, value added by firm A, thereafter by the farmer rupees 500, miller rupees 200 and baker rupees 300. Therefore the total of rupees 1000 should be included in estimating the national income. So it is known as the value added method. I hope with this explanation you guys will understood the concept of the value added. Now we have certain numericals which will help you out in calculating the national income. Children, I have taken one numerical example here. Calculate value added by firm A and by firm B. Children, here I am calculating the value added by firm A. You can easily find out the value added by firm B. Now the question says that sales by firm A is rupees 100, purchase from firm B by firm A is rupees 40. The amount is in crores, but it is written as you can say numbers. So purchase from firm B by firm A is 40, purchase from firm A by firm B is 60, sales by firm B is 200, closing stock by firm A is 20, thereafter closing stock of firm B is 35, opening stock of firm A is 25, opening stock of firm B is 45, whereas indirect taxes paid by both the firm is 30. Now children, we have to find out the value added by firm A. Now we have to apply the formula. Value added of firm by firm A is obviously equal to sales by firm A plus change in stock minus intermediate consumption, which is known as purchase. This formula we have to apply it in finding out the value added by firm A and separately by firm B. Now here sales by firm A is given, it is 100. We have to find out the change in stock, because according to the question we have to find out the value of change in stock. The value of change in stock is not given, but we have already understood a formula to find out the change in closing stock, which is always equal to closing stock of firm A minus opening stock of firm B. So 20 minus 25 becomes minus 5 here, and the intermediate consumption, which is always equal to purchase by firm B. According to the question, it is given as purchases from firm B by firm A. It is 40. So by putting the values in the above formula, we will get the value of value added by firm A, that is sale. Sale is 100 plus change in stock is minus 5 minus intermediate consumption is 40. So 100 minus 45, the answer is 55, and your answer is same according to the question, it is 55. Let's move with some other question, children. Now this is again a question. We have to calculate the net value added at factor cost from the following data. Now one thing I want to explain you here, net value added at factor cost means we are net value added at factor cost means we are the questioner is asking us to find out the value of net domestic product at factor cost, because net value added means domestic product and at factor cost means FC. So we have to find here the value of NDPFC. Now what are the things, the particulars which is given us? We have given us here the value of sales, thereafter intermediate cost, that is 90, indirect tax is 12, change in stock is 10, goods and service taxes 6, and stock of raw material is 5 rupees, purchase of machinery to be used in production units, it is 100. So children, a formula says that value added is equals to sales plus change in stock minus intermediate consumption. The value of sales is given, it is 200, whereas change in stock is given as 100 minus intermediate consumption, that is 90. So 200 plus 10 minus 90 is equals to 120. Now as I already clear here, the value of once we summarize the value of gross value, in place of value added we can write here GVAMP, or we can also write here as GDPMP. So now we have already get the value of GDPMP, which is 120 rupees. Now we have to convert the value of GDPMP to NDPFC. You convert yourself the value of GDPMP to NDPFC. Now once we are converting here the GDPMP to NDPFC, we have to first convert gross to net. N means net. So while reaching from gross to net, we have to subtract the depreciation, and by D to D, domestic to domestic, there is no change. Thereafter product to product, there is again no change, and we have to convert the market price to factor cost. So when we have to convert the market price to factor cost, we have to subtract the value of net indirect tax. So once we subtract the value of net indirect tax from the market price, we will get the value of factor cost. So here when we finding out the NDPFC, it is GDPMP minus depreciation minus NIT. 120 is the value of GDPMP, whereas the depreciation is 0, because the value of the depreciation is not given. If the value is not given, then we will take the 0 in place of that value. And the value of net indirect tax. Net indirect tax, the value of net indirect tax is already is not given, but we have to find out the value of net indirect tax. The value of net indirect tax is equals to indirect tax minus subsidies. Indirect tax is already given 12, minus subsidies is 0, so 12 minus 0 equals to 12. So 120 minus 0 minus 12, it becomes 108. So your answer is 108. This is the value of NDPFC, which is known as the domestic product. So children, let's move to the next question now. This is again a question, children. We have to calculate the sales this time, the value of sales from the following data. Calculate sales from the following data. The particulars what is given is subsidies 200 rupees, opening stock is given 100, closing stock is 600, intermediate consumption is 3000, consumption of fixed capital is 700. What is consumption of fixed capital? Consumption of fixed capital is the value of depreciation. Profit is given you is 750, whereas net value added at factor cost is given is 2000. Now here the value of NDPFC is given you, that is 2000. Now again we have to start with the same concept. We have to find out the value added. It is always equals to sales plus change in stock minus intermediate consumption. When we put up this into the formula, children, you just see sales plus what is the value of change in stock. We have to find it by ourselves. Change in stock is obviously equal to closing stock minus opening stock and minus intermediate consumption. So sales, we have to find out, putting the values of closing and opening stock, we will get 600 minus 100 minus 3000 is always equals to sales minus 2500, because we will get the positive value of 500 and a negative value of 3000. So 3000 plus 5000, it becomes 2500 negatively. So GDPMP is obviously, we will get the value of GDPMP is equals to sales minus 2500, or you can say that sales is equals to GDP plus 2500. Now we have already given the value of NDPFC, which is 2000. Now from NDPFC, we have to reach from NDPFC to GDPMP. Now we will start our conversion. From the first place we have net, and from net to gross we want to reach. From net to gross we have to add up the depreciation, and from factor cost to market price we have to add again the value of net indirect tax. Now the value of depreciation is already given by the name of consumption of fixed capital, that is 700, but the value of net indirect tax is not given. Now when the value of net indirect tax is not given, we have to find out by ourselves. We will apply the formula net indirect tax is equals to indirect tax minus subsidies. Now indirect tax is not given, whereas subsidies is given you 200. Therefore 0 minus 200 becomes minus 200. This is the value of net indirect tax. So children, here just see downside by putting the values in by putting the values we will get. Now we have make one equation, NDPFC, the value what we have already with us, that is 2000, NDPFC plus depreciation plus NID, and we will get the value of GDP-MP. We will add up this depreciation and NID with NDPFC, and we will and it is always equal to GDP-MP. So by putting the values, NDPFC is 2000, whereas depreciation is 700, and the value of net indirect tax is minus 200, and is equals to the value of GDP itself is sales minus 2500. So in place of GDP-MP I have written sales minus 2500. On the left hand side by plus minus we will get the value of 2500, that is the positive value, but on the right hand side it is equal to sales minus 2500. So by sending the value, the minus figure into the left hand side, we will get the value of sales is obviously equal to 2500 plus 2500, or the value of sales is obviously equal to 5000. So this is the concept or the various method of solving the numericals portion of this chapter. Dear children, for your better understanding, I am giving you few questions. You just solve these questions by yourself, and if there is any problem, do ask me the solution. So here you just see here there are some of the unsolved numericals which has to be solved systematically. There are almost this 17-18 questions which you have to be solved by yourself. So up to the 15th question I am giving you. This is they are really a simple question. They're not a big concept of solving this question, but the one thing you have to understand that you have to be learn better the way of converting one aggregate into the another aggregate by using the various conversion of gross to net, net to gross, domestic to national, national to domestic, market price to factor cost, and from factor cost to market price. How would we reach, or we can convert this various things with each other. If you have any doubt with the conversion, kindly go to the previous videos in where I have explained you in brief the various conversion of one aggregate into the another aggregate. So once all these concepts is clear to you, then you will going to solve these questions very easily. So children, that's all for today. In the next video we will learn the next method of calculating the national income, and before going to end of the video, I want to revise it again. We have learned today the concept of value added method. We have learned the value added the formula, which is value of output minus intermediate consumption. We too have understood that each producing units are going to add up the value to the raw material, that is intermediate cost, and each sector has their own significance in calculating this national income. So children, that's all for today. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Sai Ram.